The scent of diesel and new leather mixed in the air as the glass doors of the Ridgeway Motors showroom slid open with a soft hiss. Every light inside gleamed like polished silver, reflecting off brand-new Titan haulers, trucks so pristine they looked untouched by dust or road. And then a shadow crossed the marble floor. An old man stepped in, slow and deliberate. His coat was frayed at the sleeves, his boots stained with oil, and his hands carried the rough history of a man who had lived on the road longer than most had lived in comfort. The laughter near the reception desk softened to whispers. 3 salespeople exchanged glances. One muttered under his breath, "Maintenance entrances on the other side." The old man didn't respond. He looked around, eyes steady, until they landed on the largest truck in the showroom, a black and silver Titan LX 900, its chrome grille reflecting his tired face like a mirror. He placed one palm on the metal and said quietly, "Feels alive, doesn't she?" The manager, a tall woman in her 40s named Rebecca Sloan, stepped forward with the polite smile reserved for people who couldn't afford anything inside. "Sir," she began, "these vehicles start at $400,000. Can I direct you to our pre-owned section?" He looked up, voice gravelly but calm. "No need. I'll take 6 of them." The room froze. Then came a stifled laugh from one of the young salesmen. Another cough to hide his smirk. Rebecca tilted her head, the kind of look people give when deciding between disbelief and amusement. "Sir, these are commercial fleet vehicles. Not exactly weekend toys." "I'm not buying toys," the man said, adjusting the strap of his faded duffel bag. "I'm buying beginnings." Rebecca blinked. "I'm sorry?" 6 haulers. Same model. Black finish. Deliver them to Harbor 8, Logistics Park. You'll have the wire by afternoon." He said it as if ordering a cup of coffee. And in that moment, with polished shoes shuffling, fake smiles cracking, and judgment thick in the air, the story began. When he left, whispers followed him like smoke. "Crazy old coot," one clerk murmured. Rebecca shrugged. "Happens all the time. They wander in, talk big, disappear." But there was something in his tone that stuck with her, not delusion, not arrogance, certainty. That evening, curiosity got the better of her. She opened her laptop, searched the address he'd mentioned, Harbor 8, Logistics Park. What she saw made her pause. The place was abandoned, a rusting graveyard of trucks, warehouses, and forgotten dreams. For a moment, she felt vindicated. Then she noticed the name on an old sign barely visible through the rust, Arden Freight Systems. Her breath caught. Everyone in the industry knew that name. Once the backbone of the Eastern Transport Corridor, the company collapsed years ago after its founder lost everything in a contract scandal. No one knew what became of him. Rebecca frowned. Could it be? No. That man had vanished. Rumors said he'd gone bankrupt, maybe even died. Still, the thought lingered like an unfinished melody. Next morning, the glass doors opened again. The same old man walked in, coat cleaner now, eyes brighter. He held a brown envelope. Rebecca looked up, surprised. "Sir, you're back." He smiled faintly. "Told you I'd send the wire. Brought the confirmation too. Bank prefers paper." Inside the envelope were official documents, purchase order, transfer receipt, verified funds. The signatures checked out. The amount, exact to the cent. Rebecca's confident tone faltered. "Mr. Arden," he said. "Caleb Arden." She froze. The name she'd read the night before echoed like a forgotten legend. "You owned Arden Freight?" He nodded slowly. "Once. Lost it all when my partner sold me out. But some debts take longer to collect, not in money, but in purpose." Rebecca looked at the paperwork again, struggling for words. "How did you?" "5 years of repairing trucks that weren't mine," he interrupted softly. 10 years of watching people get written off because they didn't wear the right suit or speak the right way. Now, I'm starting again. This time with them, the ones no one hires. She didn't know what to say. The same man she dismissed yesterday had returned today not as a wanderer, but as a visionary reborn. From the office behind her, the regional director, Tom Landers, stepped out, curiosity piqued. "What's going on, Rebecca?" "Mr. Arden just purchased 6 Titan LX900s. Tom chuckled. "Come on. This isn't a charity." Arden turned, meeting his gaze. "Neither was yours, when I helped you write your first fleet contract." Tom's smile vanished. Recognition flashed. Years ago, when he was still a junior consultant, Caleb Arden had mentored him. The room went silent. "It's good to see you again, Tom," Arden said quietly. "Didn't think we'd meet here, but life has a way of circling back." Tom swallowed, voice low. "Caleb. I thought you were gone?" "I was. But roads have a way of finding lost travelers." Rebecca stepped back, overwhelmed by the shift in energy. The man everyone laughed at now commanded the room with quiet authority. Tom motioned for her to verify everything. It all checked out: the funds, the documents, the authorization from headquarters. When the final confirmation tone chimed from the system, no one spoke. Rebecca finally broke the silence. "Mr. Arden, may I ask, why 6? He looked at the trucks through the glass. "Because 6 men stood beside me when I lost everything. They believed when no one else did. One of them sleeps in his truck now. Another hasn't seen his daughter in 3 years. These rigs are their second chance." Rebecca felt something shift inside her. The showroom that once smelled of arrogance now felt heavy with humility. 2 days later, Rebecca received a call from corporate headquarters. Confirming delivery to Harbor 8, Logistics Park, payment cleared, contracts valid. The client's company, Arden Freight Reborn, is officially registered in our premium commercial database. She ended the call and just sat there, stunned. The man everyone had laughed at wasn't just real, he was rebuilding something monumental. Curiosity pulled her back to the abandoned lot that evening. When she arrived, the air buzzed with life. The once silent yard now echoed with the hum of engines, laughter, and shouted instructions. 6 Titan LX900s stood in formation under the golden sunset, polished and gleaming. A crew of men and women, some with missing teeth, others with military patches on their jackets, worked in rhythm, fitting decals that read, "Arden Freight driven by the forgotten." At the center of it all stood Caleb Arden, sleeves rolled up, hands black with grease, guiding a young mechanic who couldn't have been older than 20. Rebecca stepped closer, watching in silence. He turned, saw her, and smiled. "Didn't expect visitors this early." She shook her head, almost laughing. "Mr. Arden, this is incredible." He looked out over the trucks, eyes glinting with pride and pain. "It's not about trucks, Rebecca. It's about dignity. The world's full of people written off as useless. I used to hire them, train them, watch them prove everyone wrong. Then I became one of them." The wind carried a faint scent of diesel and salt from the harbor. Rebecca felt her throat tighten. "Why didn't you tell anyone who you were that first day?" He smiled. "Because if I had, they would have treated me differently. I needed to see if the world had changed." "And has it?" she asked softly. "Not yet," he said. "But maybe we'll start small." Behind them, one of the mechanics called out, "Boss! All 6 ready to roll?" Caleb nodded. "Then let's remind them what real work looks like." He climbed into the first truck. Engines roared one after another, deep and thunderous, echoing across the empty industrial park like a heartbeat reborn. Rebecca stood back as the convoy rolled toward the highway, sunlight catching the chrome, 6 black and silver giants moving in perfect unison, not a fleet of machines, but a testament to faith, perseverance, and redemption. A week later, Ridgeway Motors received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a handwritten note, neat and steady. To the team at Ridgeway, thank you for your laughter that day. It reminded me how easy it is to mistake silence for weakness. I don't hold it against you. Sometimes people need to see proof before they believe. But faith doesn't start with sight. It starts with respect, the kind you give before you're asked to. C. A. Arden. Attached was a photograph, the 6 trucks lined up under a banner that read "First delivery completed, to serve, not to shine." Rebecca read it twice. Her chest felt heavy, but not with shame, with awakening. The laughter she'd shared days ago echoed differently now, not as cruelty, but as a lesson carved deep. That afternoon, she took the photo and framed it on the showroom wall with a small plaque beneath. Respect every story you don't yet know. Customers would pause and ask, "Who's that man?" Rebecca would smile softly and say, "Someone who taught us that the road to greatness often begins with being underestimated." Months later, news spread, Arden Freight Reborn had become a national logistics network hiring veterans, widows, and those forgotten by the system. Their motto appeared on billboards. Second chances deliver further. Rebecca visited Caleb one last time. He was sitting on a truck ramp, notebook open, drawing plans for driver housing units. She asked, "After everything you've built back, what keeps you going?" He smiled, closing the book. "I learned something on the road. Broken things don't lose value, they just wait for someone who knows how to fix them." A long silence followed, filled with the sound of distant engines and gulls above the harbor. Rebecca finally said, "You know, I used to think success was about recognition." He looked at her gently. "It's about redemption. Recognition fades. Redemption leaves a road behind for others to follow." The camera would fade slowly from Caleb's weathered face to the convoy disappearing into the horizon, 6 black haulers glinting under a sky turning gold. Sometimes the richest souls walk in wearing the poorest shoes. And sometimes, the laughter we give too freely becomes the echo that reminds us who we've become. If this story touched something in you, if you still believe respect is worth more than wealth, like this video. Share it with someone who's forgotten what second chances look like. And subscribe to Kindness Corner, because our next story will remind you that truth, no matter how long it drives in silence, always finds its road home.